Philadelphia, are you ready?
He said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Wrestling and we make it the pizza. And this is what we talk like this.
Wait, we're making pizza?
No.
Oh.
Not today.
Okay, you got me very excited very quickly.
No, you on keto. We don't make it the pizza for you.
Alright, so then what are we talking? Where are we going first?
So today I wanted to touch on a topic that we've probably talked about at nauseum, as well as every other podcast probably around, and people just talking social media wise. So I mean, if you want to turn off now, go ahead. But no, don't
do that.
Because I want to put a different spin on it. I want to talk because I was reading some tweets earlier about the Wednesday night wars, and I put war in quotation because this person had an interesting take on it about how the wrestlers, they're all friends. Like, all the wrestlers are friends. Like, they buy each other's merch, they support each other. Like, there is no real war.
It's a perfect example with John Huber. All across, didn't matter who it was. Everyone was affected. They were friends. Didn't matter that he was in AEW and you might have been in WWE. Didn't matter. They're friends deep down, and everyone wants to do business.
Yeah, but I didn't want to touch on that. I wanted to take more of a sports look. I wanted to look deeper into the Wednesday Night War and kind of compare it to the other big four sports fandom and kind of just take a different approach and a different look at it. And I wanted to play devil's advocate with you first.
Okay.
And I want to ask you a couple questions, and that'll lead into where I want to take this conversation. So, after when we talked last night to
Brian Johnson,
and we kind of took like a sport look at wrestling as well, and I wanted to kind of play off of that. So when that episode drops, make sure you check it out, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're a Celtics fan. As much as we hate that about you, you're a Celtics fan.
Correct.
Life was all good when they were running championships, and they were winning them.
Yes.
Doc had the whole crew.
2008 was great, yes.
So, what happened to that team after that?
After a few years, kind of got ripped apart. People went different places.
How much did you watch when they were getting ripped apart and when they weren't good?
Significantly less.
Significantly less.
Yes.
You're also a Flyers fan. There was a point in time where the Flyers were must-see TV when the Legion of Doom was around, when we were really young.
Yes.
And then when they were playing the Blackhawks in 2010,
yes,
they had a good team. Now, from the Legion of Doom era to 2010, how good were the Flyers?
Not that good.
How much did you watch?
Now, see, I'm a different fan when it comes to the Flyers.
Okay, but in 2010, did you miss many games?
Not one game.
Now, those years that they were bad, did you care if you missed a game?
Not really. I mean, I would care. I would definitely have to see something.
But did you care if you missed when they weren't that good? When they were putting together maybe 500 records?
Not really.
Okay, so the Phillies, same thing.
Yeah.
When we watched the Phillies, 08, 09, 2010, great years. Before that,
yeah.
Did you care? I mean, it's a long season, but this will all tie in. Did you care if you missed a game? Were you as invested when they were winning to when they were losing?
These last 5 years are the perfect example. I don't know how many games I've just they're on.
So
whatever.
I think in the sporting world, that is the mentality. I think that when people, I mean, look, you're always going to support your team. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you're always going to support them. But do you care if you don't? If when they're bad and you know they're bad and they don't have a shot, you know that they're out of it. Do you care about it as much?
I mean, I don't want to sound like a bad fan because I still support my team.
You still support your team. It's not like you. It's not like you flip sides.
Yeah.
But here's how I want to look at this. As much as people want to say that there's a war, the fan bases behind them. It's not a wrestler fan base. It's a company fan base. You're rooting for a company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're taking a team approach to it. Like, you're rooting for your team.
Yeah.
So what happens, and this is all hypothetical, I'm not saying I'm rooting for this to happen or I'm saying it's going to happen. I'm throwing out a different perspective, a hypothetical. What if AEW, for instance, they're hot, they're winning the quote-unquote war, they have the ratings every week, so your bragging rights are, if you're rooting for that team, are at an all-time high, which they are.
Yeah.
So what happens if WWE decides that they want to send down a couple people and really make this interesting to NXT, which they could do at any given time if they really wanted to? What happens if the ratings start to swing? What if NXT and WWE start to get the ratings? Now you're looking at it at a sports, just in a sports mentality alone, and your team starts losing every week. Repeatedly. Now, are you as invested in that company? Now, they might be your favorite company, but and you've invested so much in these ratings and how you're winning. Like, yes, the shows might still be good, but with that mentality alone,
welcome everybody to Brotherly Love Wrestling, and on today's show from
who cares much.
Okay, so you wanted me to play devil's advocate, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
so I wanted you to play devil's advocate in all those questions I was asking you, and I wanted it to tie into this.
Okay.
And I wanted to get your viewpoint on this as just a topic that, what if it were to happen and AEW were to continue to lose in the ratings war and they were bad? Because then you got to start getting desperate. So the product might suffer.
All right, so, and let me go with this.
Okay.
Going that way, and when you say if WWE sends down Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins and
AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, whatever. What if they decided
welcome
to
everybody to
Charlotte
Brotherly
and
Love
Roman
Wrestling, and on
NXT
today's
for
show
weeks on
from
end?
okay, if that happens,
Just hypothetical. They
Yeah.
would never do it.
Yeah.
Well, Charlotte they might, but Roman, unless.
welcome everybody
they
to Brotherly Love
absolutely
Wrestling,
need
and on
to, which I don't think
today's
it
never
show
will.
from
Never
Ring
did.
of Honor
So,
Wrestling, we
if that
have the
happens
Mecca,
and NXT
Brian
takes over
Johnson joining
by
us.
a lot,
Brian, welcome
like,
to the show.
Like AEW is doing.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah,
Pleasure's
what
all
if they
yours.
make it an
don't think-
actual war?
No, I don't.
What if they make it a ratings?
I don't
can't
think there
really
are
disagree with
AEW
that.
fans, and I'm not just saying this because AEW fans have the
Pleasure's all yours.
the stigma behind them of everything is awesome, we love
can't
this no
really
matter
disagree
what.
with
I'm
that.
not saying it for that reason. I'm saying it that I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll have to
because
decide that
unlike
after
sports,
the pleasure.
Okay.
it is more of a team. Everyone, even though like wrestling companies work together as a team to put on a show and blah blah blah, with a team, you're all playing a part in that role as a team. Where, yes, to a degree in wrestling you do that, but when you have individual matches, you have individual promos. There's not a lot of baseball players, hockey players, football players that they'll talk to the media. They're not cutting a promo. They're not getting their time. It's all in a matter of the game. Where with wrestling, you have your match, your spotlight, and you're more singled out. And that's why they tell you, get yourself over. Not just, hey, go out there and get AEW over. Don't worry about what you're doing. Get AEW over. They have to get themselves over. And I think that's the biggest difference between sports and wrestling is you're still, even if the show's shit, even if you're horrible as a show, you're still going to tune in when you hear Sting is on AEW.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not going to tune in because JT Real Muto is up to bat.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying for me and you. I'm saying for the fandom in general that seems to make this more about the company that's doing well instead of the
welcome
individual
everybody to
wrestler.
Brotherly Love
When you
Wrestling.
get invested in the company and how that could be bad and detrimental to wrestling. So what I'm not saying me and you. I'm not saying that we're, because we don't look at it that way. I'm not a company person. I'm not going to root for a company to do well. I'm going to root for wrestlers to do well. I want to see them do well. I want to see them being the best that they can. I'm saying for, even if it's the minuscule or the minority in wrestling fandom, how that could be detrimental to your wrestling fandom in general, because when it comes down to it, you have a lot more to lose. So
all right,
if you're a sports fan, and I wrote Eagle seasons they're god awful, and it was painful to watch them. I know they're not going anywhere. I know that they're the team of Philadelphia, and they're not, even if they get bought, they're not leaving Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So I know they're not going anywhere.
Well,
Same with any other sport team. But what they have to lose when you become so invested in this product or in this company, is that if they don't continue to win and they have to get desperate, and their product isn't as good because they have to try and go above and beyond. And I'm not saying that I want this to happen. I'm just saying that if they lose, they lose. There's no coming back from if they lose, they go out of business. So to put yourself all in for this company is what I'm saying is how it could be detrimental to wrestling. Like, yes, if the company does well, then yes, that's great. But to really put yourself behind for the company,
I don't think, and that's the thing. I think when you say that, and yes, people are AEW and WWE sucks and WWE can't book and blah blah blah.
But it's on the other end as well. But
It is.
At the end of the day, WWE is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
they've been around forever.
They're a global company. They're publicly traded. Absolutely, I completely agree. And you're talking about AEW starting to lose, and that all of a sudden TNT not liking that they're losing, maybe a year into tanking and being under NXT, then going away, basically.
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is that so now that the big company put now you're not a wrestling fan at all.
I disagree. I disagree because
you can disagree.
This is the reason why,
and that's what I'm saying. It's a hypothetical, but that's what I see as what could be the problem with getting behind a company. Just getting behind a company. Like, look, the company is there, but they're not paying you to be a fan. You're a fan of what were you a fan of before that? You're a fan of the wrestlers, but people get engulfed in this competition and making it a competition when it really shouldn't be. Like, you shouldn't care about a ratings war. You shouldn't care about the company and what their stocks are and what they're up or down or stuff like that. You should care about the wrestling. Like, let the people that own the damn company think about that. Just it's more of a point to where it bothers me, and where this tweet was right, where they said there is no war. It's not a war between them.
It's more of a war, and obviously we've said this 1,000 times, like you said, it's a war of the fans. The fans love going back and forth, shitting on the other companies, shitting on the other wrestlers, and all that.
But it's more for the company. It's more the owner. Like, you'll take a shot at Vince and WWE, or Stephanie, or any of the McMahons.
Yes.
And WWE. Like, you're taking shots at them when really it's you're why are you a fanboy for the company?
Yeah.
Like,
I get.
It's the one thing that I don't get.
I get that, but I think the main thing is, and I thought of that when you were saying it, was the first thing you said, and after it happened, and I called you, and it said out of your mouth is, as soon as Sting came on AEW, I'm definitely watching AEW first.
Here's the thing.
It wasn't because of AEW.
No,
it was because of Sting.
As much as I said that, it still hasn't locked me in. It's
because Sting has done the same thing every week, and he hasn't got as involved as you may have thought he might have been.
It's
not in the ring, but just storyline-wise.
It's just that we were talking about it, and I was hoping that Sting would get me invested in Darby Allin, but it hasn't happened. I don't think it will happen. It's kind of the time period it is, and the time frame, and what actually I'm interested in. It's not mainstream wrestling. It's just not. It hasn't hooked me in. There's been some matches that have been really good, but mainstream wrestling as a whole has not got me fully as invested as I would like to be. It's just that there's so much out there that I'd rather watch. It's just.
But I think the common fan is unlike me and you, to where we are definitely jaded when it comes to television wrestling and mainstream wrestling. That we prefer, and that's why 2020 has sucked so bad, is because we miss a lot of the indie companies, a lot of going out to the independent shows and stuff like that. But I think the majority of fans that are doing what you're talking about and backing this company and that company, the reason that everyone's backing AEW that does is because the WWE doesn't do what they want. They don't book the way they want. That guy isn't used how he should be used. And that's why they do that. And a lot of wrestlers who they were fans of in WWE, whether it be Cody or Rusev is a big one, that now he's at AEW, that's why they're fans. If Rusev all of a sudden went to NXT, didn't go up to main roster, came back, did NXT, and was dominant, you know how many of those AEW fans would be right back on NXT and not watching AEW? Because they want to be there for Rusev, not so much for AEW.
Well, here's the thing. I'll play the opposite side of that people will now hate Rusev more for not going to AEW because they are fans of that company instead of fans of the wrestler. They will come at him and say, "What a terrible mistake!" Like it's that mentality that is just so bizarre. Like for you to root for, all I'm saying is that I wanted to take a different spin on this, and I think we're gonna end up beating a dead horse at this point.
Okay,
but the point of rooting for a company over just the wrestlers as a whole, it's just you set yourself up for a letdown.
Yeah, especially when you're going against a company that is as big, publicly traded, worldwide as a WWE.
It's not that. It's just not. It's not that type of sport. It's not that type of wins and loss records. It's not like to root for a team and to root for a. It's like rooting for the NFL as a whole to put the CFL out of business. Like it doesn't make any sense.
And actually, that's a good point because I heard Bully Ray say this at one point in talking about the wars because he doesn't like the word, war, and that's like saying turn around and going, I'm only watching shows that are on CBS. Fuck
Fox,
ABC, fuck Fox and NBC and all that. I only want to watch shows that are on CBS, and I'm not watching anything else. That makes no sense. Nobody says that. No one does that. So why would you all of a sudden at a wrestling go, oh, well, I only want to watch AEW. I don't want to watch what they're doing over at WWE. The CBS would have bad shows just like CBS has good shows. Same thing all over the place. I mean, ABC and Fox have great shows, but they also have pieces of shits. You know what I mean? It all makes... It's all relative.
Pieces of shit.
It's all relative when it comes to what you're rooting for, but you would never do that with television. You wouldn't do it. You watch all over television to watch different shows that you like, just like you watch all different wrestling because there are different wrestling styles and wrestlers that you do like.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. It's bizarre to just stick to. That's okay if you want to stick to one, stick to one. But to just solely stick to one to spite everything else that you could see, it just makes no sense. It's childish, is what it is.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's this generation of wrestling fan is just doing that.
It is. It's spoiled. You're spoiled. You have so much.
Yeah.
You have so much.
Yeah, I mean, not to sound old and dated, but we didn't have it like that when we were younger. It was, here's your two companies.
Yeah, and you'd have to scour, but now everything, you'd have to tape trade and shit like that to find everything you want. You have to be a lot more dedicated in that time period, and now everything is literally you can watch anything you want at your fingertips, and it's just you're spoiled.
Absolutely.
At this point. Yeah, and we're all spoiled with how much or what we can watch.
Yeah,
and for the most part, everything is affordable unless you're racking up like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on wrestling. Then that's a little out of control.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. So let's move on to a wrestling event we both watched, and I got a 50-50 feel from social media
after fell asleep
hearing
at the main event.
You did, yes, you did. Hard to Kill Saturday night for Impact.
Easy to sleep, hard to kill. And I'm not saying that as a
jab towards Impact.
But and I said this to you when we were watching. I said they still haven't been able to do what they did at Slammiversary.
Yes.
Like Slammiversary was great. I mean, and I know it had a lot of surprises, and that kind of is like what you want. Like, oh, I need surprises. I need surprises. And there were good matches on. What was this, Rebel? No, this was Hard to Kill.
Hard to Kill. Yes. Easy to sleep.
Easy to sleep. Hard to kill.
Yeah.
There were good matches. It just it fell flat.
I think a lot of the matches, I mean, there were some matches that were very good. And I think the main event hit. As much as I wasn't, the air was let out of my balloon when I saw Moose was put in place for Shelley.
He still had a good match.
But yes, that was the thing. I was surprised.
He still carried a good portion of that match.
Not that I don't think Moose is bad. I mean, not that I don't think he's good. But I wanted to see Motor City Machine Guns, Good Brothers, Swan, and Omega. I wanted to see all that clash. But I thought it still delivered. I kind of expected something from another AEW wrestler, whether it was Moxley, whether it was the Bucks. I thought they maybe should have caked it on a little bit more for AEW, but it was still a great main event.
It's kind of a fine line to walk where you don't you don't want AEW to come in and overstep their boundaries because it still is your company. This is still Impact. You want just the right amount of rub.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that analogy for many different things.
Yes.
But just the right amount of rub.
Keep going. Keep
So
going.
you get Omega there, and he's the draw.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the draw. He's supposed to be the best wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
So you bring him in, and that should be enough. And I think that is. I think if you start bringing in more this quickly, I think they should all have to. It should be separate angles. Everything should be a separate. You can't unless they're gonna do a conjoined pay-per-view where it's Impact versus. They should be invading each other's show though. You should have Impact. It should. Go,
But you don't see.
No,
But
yeah, what you
others is
no.
what you're saying.
What? You're gonna bring.
Well, you got it. On Saturday night.
Woo woo woo.
Yeah, exactly. So there still was, to a much
Well,
lesser level.
He's
but
signed. He's going to be with Impact now.
oh, is it? Okay.
I think that was his debut.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still a free agent. He's still going to fly, but I thought this might be more
Okay.
of his thing. I mean, if
which
you
is
think
a
about it,
little bit better.
Myers was there, so it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But I think there were some matches. I thought the women's title match, Perazo versus Taya, was very well done, very well wrestled because you had two well accomplished women in there.
I like the Virtuosos, her push that she's getting. I don't think that WWE or NXT, I don't think she fit there. I think she could have if they tried to, but I think that her skill level is more meant for Impact. I think she's able to flourish there. I mean, it's tough. It's tough for Impact too because that women's division is great. But
stacked.
It's tough. It's even more tough for anybody that doesn't have a name to stay.
For Philadelphia, 76ers, stomp your feet, everybody.
I think that one of the biggest misses of Saturday night, and apparently not to his fault, which is Ethan Page, was that Ethan Page versus Karate Man. Which
you thought that this was going to be a masterpiece?
I did not. No, absolutely. I thought it was a pure comedy angle. I thought it was. I thought it was going to be funny.
When you see that, you think okay, well, this is going to be ridiculous. You go into it already looking you're not expecting especially for what you're not expecting Oscar-winning performances. You're not expecting that. You're expecting this to be silly and goofy, and it was. It was way out there. Is what you kind of figured when you saw this.
But in that vein, Impact apparently completely
butchered.
That's a good word. Butchered the final cut that Ethan Page had planned and made it even more outlandish than what he originally had as a final cut, I guess, and then gave to Impact. And this is all from Ethan Page, who put out a tweet explaining all this.
Part of me thinks this is a work, but
I thought the same thing.
But it could also be a snub because he said he was leaving, but he could have also said that just to make you think that's they are what they thought they would be, or whatever the fuck that saying is.
They are who we thought they were?
They are who we thought they were.
Yes. Yeah, but it could be a giant work, and he could be this rebel that hates Impact Wrestling and comes out and talks shit, which would be a good angle.
If anything, this is a perfect angle. If he does end up signing with AEW, he can. If they're working together, this could be a working relationship between the two, and he could always come back and try and quote unquote stick it to Impact.
But on the other hand, if this is real and this is something that Impact actually did,
for Philadelphia, 76ers, stomp your feet, everybody. For Philadelphia, 76ers, here they come, Philadelphia, on the run.
to do that to.
If it's true.
Yeah, absolutly. If he said here, this is it.
This is why I don't think it's true. I don't think he's intending
76ers.
Try and bury a company or try to I feel like he's doing this for a reason, and not the reason of trying to save face for himself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he was always like Mr. Impact.
He's like he loved TNA, but if you look at the premise behind it,
For Philadelphia, 76ers,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is what it should be because you're fighting yourself.
Which, when I watched it, and if you've seen the match, or if you, whatever you want to call
Or
it,
a clip of it, 'cause it was only like 5 minutes.
yeah, it was ridiculous. And at first I thought, okay, yeah, whatever. I knew it was going to be like this.
Welcome
so,
everybody to
cool.
Brotherly Love
But
Wrestling,
to
and on
hear what he
today's
said,
show,
I don't know.
from
I'm
Ring
still
of
not
Honor
convinced it's
Wrestling,
not a
we
work
have
yet,
the Mecca,
but, I
Brian
hope it's not
Johnson,
because I
joining
like
us. Brian,
Impact
welcome to the
Wrestling,
show.
and I want them to keep going.
Hey, what's
But
going on,
that's-
guys?
I don't want
Pleasure's
it to
all
be
yours.
a blemish
Would
on
that soil your
I can't really disagree with that.
in
Was it?
Impact? Like if you
Well,
knew
I
that
decide that
they
after
intentionally
Yeah.
screwed
Okay.
someone over, would you be like, maybe
Yeah, because
We mentioned
you want,
Ring of
you
Honor.
want
This is why I don't
That's
think
who
that he
primarily.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think he purposely
the
wants
only
to
company you wrestle
sway
for right now,
people away
correct?
from Impact.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I want Impact to rise. I want them to be a contender and be another.
And I think with them working openly with AEW, I mean, I think that helps them.
Yes. Yeah, so I hope it's a work, but we'll see, I guess, in the coming weeks what happens with Ethan Page. Speaking in the coming weeks, we have Royal Rumble less than 2 weeks away, which typically is...
Did you announce for it yet? Did you?
I did not declare for the Rumble
didn't
yet.
declare
I'm
for
still
it
kind of on the line
on
there.
the line? I mean, out of the two of us, I think you would have a better shot. You're taller.
Taller, I have a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
You'd be hard to get over.
A little bit, yeah.
But I'm short. I could always like go in between.
You have the
the
speed factor.
Well, I don't go that far.
Compared to me, you do.
Compared to you,
Yeah,
but
that's
not
what I'm saying.
speed compared to athletes. No,
No.
I don't have that at all.
No, you
so
don't.
my best bet would be if they push me, I go in between the ropes and I kind of just chill there for a while.
Yeah. But
I do. I actually get out and like hop on commentary.
there you go.
That's what I do.
That would be perfect.
But I do it in another accent. I say, oh, they didn't get me this time. Aha! I win.
The latest Royal Rumble rumor I have heard is Brock Lesnar.
It really hurts that there's no fans for this, and it's not as good as a build as I would like it to be because all these people are just declaring for the Rumble.
Yes.
It's just not. They're
It
hurting it.
It doesn't.
They're hurting it.
It doesn't feel like Royal Rumble season.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
It feels like a fucking bad dream of wrestling. This is my favorite event of the year. Royal Rumble is my favorite event. Just for the Royal Rumble alone, I could care about the other matches. But
yeah,
then we get 2 Royal Rumbles in the same night. I love it. And I just feel, I know I go in low expectations, just as you do,
Yes.
and it ends up being a good show, which I'm fine with. I'm
The
good
last,
with.
5 pay-per-views
Yeah,
have been like that?
I'm fine with that. If I go in low expectations and
agree.
they prove me wrong, quote unquote, and they put on a good show, I'm good with that. That's
too.
what I want.
Yep.
But it just doesn't like, and this goes back to WWE, even AEW for the most part. They're not drawing me in. It's just too long and too much to watch, and it's just they intermix good with bad. It's just it's most of the time bad outweighs the good, so you're just like
Well, I think everyone goes into Royal Rumble the same thing. What's the surprise going to be?
yeah,
Who's coming out? What's the surprise going to be? And
because this is the setup for Mania.
Exactly. So I think that's the one thing that I said to you before. Going into this Royal Rumble, I'm not expecting any surprises, especially with no fans. Now, if they were to somehow do it, which a couple months ago they were saying that they wanted to try and get fans, then maybe I would believe it. People are talking Jay White. People are talking. I mean, I heard people say Ethan Page just because of what happened Saturday night.
Well, here's the thing. I think either of the two is a fine surprise, and they can do without fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the buzz it'll draw on social media will be fine, and it'll be great, and they'll get their reviews and whatnot. I think that's fine, but I don't think you're going to see, because you're not going to see a big-time legend come back. Like they would never do the Edge right now.
Exactly.
Because I mean, without that crowd pop, I mean, you could filter in as much noise as you want, but we know it's not genuine.
Yes.
You can feel when it's not genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. But the biggest thing I saw, and with Brock Lesnar, like I said, is a Brock Lesnar costing Kevin Owens, I don't know why or where this comes from, but costing Kevin Owens in the Last Man Standing match.
Just because he's Brock Lesnar?
Just because they... And see, I don't get why. But, listen, let me finish. Brock Lesnar versus KO at Mania. But somehow,
What?
I'm telling you, setting it
How
up...
does this make sense?
Because...
Make it make sense.
KO, I'm just telling you what I read. That's all. I didn't come up with it and tell you what I read.
For what?
Just because he cost
Just
Kevin
to get
Owens
Brock on
the
card?
title, just
This
to
is
get Brock on
basically
the
just
card.
to get Brock on the card.
Exactly. Yes.
But it's still... Why wouldn't he want a shot at the title? Why the hell would he?
Everything
why would
you're
he pick
doing-
the guy that loses?
This is WWE booking and what it does.
It's so confusing. Like, why cost the guy who's not the champion? Don't you want to fight for the title? It's Brock Lesnar. Don't you
agree.
want? You want
I
to fight the
completely
guy
agree.
that loses?
I completely agree.
For what reason?
Look, I'm not the one who said
You said it.
I'm the messenger. That's it.
Well, I'm
I
shooting
saw
you
it on
anyway. I'm not shooting you anyway. We talking the wrestling.
So I don't know how much I believe, but it doesn't make any sense.
I'm putting that out of the atmosphere. I don't want it anywhere near the legitimate world of wrestling. Just get it the fuck out of it, because that makes no sense. It's confusing, and I hate it.
The legitimate world of wrestling.
Yeah, just the truth. Whatever's gonna happen, I don't want that to happen. So whatever I have to do karma-wise to get this to not happen, that's what I need to do. And if I need to make up words in doing so, then so be it.
Okay.
So anyway, that's not happening. We're not talking about that. The Royal Rumble in itself, I think it'll be fun. It's the Royal Rumble, and Del Rio's not in it, so I think we'll be fine. So, no, we're taking that out of the universe too. It's out of here. So,
Just saying, could be.
the Rumble matches will be fun. I think whatever title matches they come up with, they'll be good. I don't see anything major happening.
Yeah. I agree.
Unless the only thing that could happen is Goldberg could beat McIntyre. And if they use this whole COVID angle and say he wasn't 100% and he was still fatigued or whatnot, and Goldberg wins, because that's the only reason Goldberg should actually win, or if he cheats. Goldberg, he just lost that luster. He's not Goldberg anymore. He's Oldberg, and we all know that. And they're making fun of it right now anyway, with Goldberg and fucking Bernard from the Santa Claus coming out and fucking to do a fucking angle. I mean, they made a joke about it. I mean, at least they could do that because they know. I mean, people.
Look, it was funny. It was funny.
It was.
People might say it was stupid and corny. That was the
He
whole
was
point.
also in 10 Things I Hate About You, and when he goes off the hill on his bike, when he goes, "My balls." There's those little nuances of shit.
What a obscure reference you worked in. I mean, bravo. I did not expect that to come.
Did you expect anything less?
Less than that? Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to come from left field. But yes, that was perfect.
Okay.
But I agree. But the thing is with Goldberg and him winning the title, I would accept it from anyone but Goldberg because I like Drew chasing that title. I wouldn't mind Drew losing the title and working back to WrestleMania to be a 3-time champion and win it at Mania because there's going to be fans. So he gets that moment to win it in front of fans again. That's fine with me. But anyone but Goldberg.
So we're saying that The Rock isn't going to be as rumored as it was. There's no way they can do The Rock this year. Not without any fans, right?
At Rumble?
No, at Mania. Like, they can't.
Well, they're saying that's why they pushed Mania back. Is because they are going to have fans. That was the reasoning behind it.
Do you think that the heavy rumor? Do you think that it's still Rock Roman?
No, I do not.
Do you think Seth Rollins finds a way in there?
I would like that better than.
I think they could run a better angle with Rollins.
Absolutely.
As much as I like him as a heel, I think pure babyface Rollins is his best.
But who? Over with?
Put him against Roman.
Okay.
Put super babyface.
Okay, so
Rollins.
we switched from McIntyre to Reigns because we were on.
Yeah. Here's the thing: I don't care about Goldberg.
I know. I agree.
And honestly, McIntyre as a champion hasn't really done it for me. And the roster over on Raw in general, they need a complete refresher. There needs to be new people at the top. And I know McIntyre isn't that old as a champion, but they need to freshen things up. And I think completely flipping it upside down is the way to do it, unfortunately. Because it's
well, we're going to have to wait till June for that because that's typically when they do that. They just did that draft.
All right. I want to end on this.
Okay.
One last thing.
Okay.
It is a thing that I saw. Evidently, we're going to go back to AEW.
Okay.
Evidently, AEW is looking to file a trademark for Too Sweet.
I did see that as well.
What are your thoughts on that?
Too Sweet? All right, yeah, go ahead. But go ahead. I I can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter.
But why file for the trademark when you were the last horse in the race?
Because they're not using it anymore.
No, but New Japan is.
Yeah.
So
Are they? Are they?
The Bullet Club?
Yeah, are they still using
They're
it?
still the Bullet Club.
And I hate to say this because I haven't. I mean, aside from Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not watching.
They're
New Japan.
still. No matter who leaves to go where, New Japan still is the Bullet Club.
Yes.
So
yeah, but
all these other people are just interchangeable parts, and there's still new people coming through.
But are they calling it Too Sweet? That's the difference. Forget the Bullet Club.
Well, here's the thing: if you're gonna trademark Too Sweet and you don't have the hand gesture, then you're stupid, because you need it all as one.
And does New Japan have the hand gesture?
I don't know, but I'm saying this is kind of a dick move on AEW's part for trying to file a trademark, because they have what they deem the most popular portion of that faction.
They do.
So I think that's a dick move on them for taking that away from New Japan and the actual Bullet Club that is the Bullet Club.
Okay, so...
And Kenny wearing the Bullet Club shirt, I mean, does that somehow intertwine? Here's the thing. If they're filing for the trademark because they can, and they're the company that's going to do it, and this all somehow ties together every other company, then fuck it. Who cares? Who cares what I'm saying right now? Because that's the ultimate goal, is what fans want to see. Fans of wrestling, they want to see the best go against the best. Each company...
You want the best wrestling possible no matter what it means.
Yes, and the best wrestlers from each company, if they're able to go and work together, I mean, given that the best wrestlers in AEW have worked the best wrestlers in New Japan already.
Yes.
But you get the other matchups that you didn't think you were going to see, like a Miro against a Naito or Okada or something crazy like that, or you get in the Super Junior division, you get I don't know, like Ace Austin, and you get Jungle Boy, and you get Takahashi, Hiromu.
Yes.
Like, imagine that crazy shit you could see just if they all started working together.
I just think and nothing against Tama and the rest of the Bullet Club, but when you think Bullet Club, when you hear the words Bullet Club, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Who are the first people that come to mind?
Probably Finn.
It's Good Brothers are in with Finn.
Yeah, Anderson, Finn.
Yeah.
I think Tama. And
Tama I think
Fale.
See, if I hear Bullet Club, I'm not thinking Fale.
When you hear Bullet Club, you think...
I'm thinking Gallows, Anderson, Bucks, and Omega. Like, I'm thinking those guys.
Okay.
Not because they're telling me to think it, but because when we got into New Japan, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what the Bullet Club was. And that's why the shirts were in Hot Topic. That's why they blew up, was because of those guys. And that's not
so you're saying you're a mark.
Hell yeah, I'm a mark. Absolutely, I'm a mark. Look, we are on our show with 2 banners while I'm wearing my shirt. Yes, I am a full-on mark.
You're a self-indulgent mark.
Absolutely.
Or self
promoting?
Selfish? Shellfish. You're a shellfish mark.
Either way. But yeah, yes, that is the Bullet Club. And as far as I'm concerned, AEW and Impact have the Bullet Club all together at this point. So if they want to trademark Too Sweet, I have no problem with it, and they should, because that's the Bullet Club. Sorry, Thomas. Sorry, Fale. You're not the reason that people
Or they just doing it just so WWE can't do it.
That as well.
I mean,
but WWE at this point, I don't want them to do it. I don't want Hunter and Sean and all them to come and come out.
They never did the Too Sweet. That was
Nash. That was Nash and Hall was the Too Sweet with Hogan.
If this is some fucking kooky way to get more old WWE people over to AEW and Nash and Hall show up, I'm just gonna be like, they're doing it. Like, here's what I look. It just in my mind, my fucked up mind, like, they're going full on WCW.
Absolutely.
You got Sting, you got Arn Anderson. You're gonna have Too Sweet. And I know it means something different. Well, it doesn't mean something different now, but it applies to something different now. But it's just stuff that WCW did.
I would say, a part of me would say that, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would never go to AEW.
That's not
But
true
then
at all.
I look at who I'm talking about, and if it's the check is right, they're going to go anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter at that
And
point.
at this point, they're not sticking at anyone. They're just fucking making money.
Yeah, they don't care.
Who cares?
Who's signing our check?
I mean, look at Billy Gunn's working,
exactly.
and he was DX, or
Yes.
a part of DX.
He was signed contract to AEW and showed up on the Hall of Fame as Hunter berated the little company that he worked for.
Well, Pissant Company. I
Yeah,
remember
exactly. So they're all the gloves are off. They'll do whatever they can to stick it to the other company. Well, AEW will do whatever they can to stick it to the other company. WWE really, for the most part, doesn't
No,
really give a shit.
They're just going to take away your secondary income.
Yes, that is true as well. Yes. So, I mean, all in all, there's a lot still going on in professional wrestling. A lot still to talk about. Less than 2 weeks from the Rumble. Like we said, we're not expecting a lot from the Rumble. So we might come on that Monday and Tuesday afterwards and be completely happy with what the Royal Rumble was because we're not expecting a lot.
I think chances are we will be. I think there's still going to be a good show.
Yeah.
No matter what.
In Roman and KO, God, I said it on the interview, and you'll see it on Friday morning when we release the interview with Brian Johnson from Ring of Honor. I love Kevin Owens. I'm a Kevin Owens mark. I want him to get the title. Will he? Probably not. But
He might face Brock Lesnar, evidently.
apparently, yeah. But
What sense does that fucking make?
him, at least he's on TV, and at least he's going for a main title.
What do you
I'm
think?
glad to see it.
Just to end the show.
Yeah.
Just give me like a couple word answer. What do you think of KO and Sami Zayn joining forces and going tag team?
I would absolutely love it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. I think
I second that.
Yeah,
And I think that's where we ended.
Yes. So, thank you for joining us here on our Facebook Live. Please make sure to like, subscribe, give us the 5-star rating on all of our platforms. Also, like I said, for this shirt, whatamaneuver.net, look up Brotherly Love Wrestling, pick up this shirt. We have our Unite shirt. We have our Slap the Leg Karate Kid tribute shirt.
No mercy.
Yeah, exactly. So, check out whatamaneuver.net, Brotherly Love Wrestling, and our YouTube, our Twitch, everything you can find, Brotherly Love Wrestling. Look us up and help us out because it's a big help to us. So thank you again. We
Help
hope
us
you
out because it's a big
enjoy-
help to us.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Okay, well, either way, help us, help you.
Help
us.
us. Help us help you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll be talking to you soon.